Hello gamers, this is JudiciousFire. I'm on the iOS server and I am coming at you with the second video uploaded to my new channel. Started this on the 1st of the year, January 1, 2019. As a result of reaching 600k, I did this in order to simply reach 600k. By no means was I trying to build Castle Clash's strongest account or highest ranked account, but instead was trying to simply reach 600k. As far as the last 2 days are concerned, I've gotten several responses on the channel itself, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate the comments, I appreciate the questions, I appreciate the several dozen people who've contacted me in the game through our chat system. I really appreciate the messages online. I found myself talking with a gentleman from Bangladesh yesterday. So thank you very much for that opportunity, sir. And I also appreciate the opportunity to help out some people who are just starting in the game in terms of choosing talents, which heroes to upgrade first, which are the priority heroes. My pleasure. If I'm ever non-responsive in the game, if you send me a message, please keep in mind that as numbers come up, letting me know that messages are available. Sometimes I miss them, sometimes I'm in a game mode, sometimes I'm not able to respond, or I'm recording. I will get back to you the next time that I'm actually in gaming mode. So we are at, let me go to the Guild Hub. We are at January 3rd. Today is Guild Wars Day. Guild Wars, and I'm going to do plenty of videos on Guild Wars, the intricacies of Guild Wars, the strategies of Guild Wars, the defensive opportunities, the offensive opportunities, the scoring system, some of the controversies surrounding Guild Wars, as well as some of the shady business that happens on occasion with certain individuals who have figured out how to scheme the system. This will all come later. As far as my personal performance in Guild Wars today, I was able to score a personal high. Now, there's one reason for this. I've got high might. The Guild Wars scoring system is based on the base that you destroy, the might or total points that that base might be worth, and your own individual might score. So in other words, you want a higher score in Guild Wars? Then friend, raise your might. If you are in the market for more fame, and who doesn't want more fame? If you need honor badges, if you need the results of Guild Wars rewards, and you need those to be multiplied, then I would recommend raising your might. I have done this experiment in real time, maybe 100,000 might ago when I was reaching 500k. I was at about 490 something, in the low 490s. And it was a Guild Wars day. I also had the opportunity to raise my might that day. I looked at the top base, the base that is worth the most number of points. And just for the sake of simple math and easy recollection, I'll say the base was worth 1,000 points. I then added a few thousand might. I got to just above 500k. I then went back into the Guild Wars screen. I looked at that top base again, the one that was worth the most number of points. Previously, it had been worth 1,000, but now that I had raised my might a substantial degree, it was worth 1,020. So as you see, as your might goes up, your Guild Wars score will naturally go up. So my Guild Wars score today While it may be a personal record for me, it is not a reflection of my abilities as a Guild Wars champion. It is a reflection of my high might. I took on one base in particular, uh, and it took me probably 15 tries before I could finally crack a hole in those defenses. Incredible. So it was a challenge today. I took on some real top opponents, but simply because of the way that IGG and Castle Clash calculate might rewards in Guild Wars. Simply because of that, I ended up coming out with a pretty good score. Today, January 3rd, I wanted to take a look at our enchantment system. This would be the basis of today's video. Now, with all of the ways to upgrade your hero, why do I begin with enchantments? Simply because I've got a boat ton of enchantment refresh boxes. When opened, these enchantment refresh boxes will give you a level 4 or a level 5 enchantment. I thought maybe as they came up, we could discuss them, and I could give my personal opinion in terms of my own account. As far as what your account is doing, as far as what you're after as a Castle Clasher, that may vary from what I'm after. I'm not going to suppose for a moment that my insight into enchantments or really any other Castle Clash topic is superior. I'm just simply saying that this is an option. It's very similar. I look at Castle Clash very similar to the way I look at sports. There are many, many ways to play the game. But when played well, you can win. So you'll look at basketball. You're not going to ask a center to do the same thing that a forward would do. Okay? Two different approaches to the game. But both positions are trying their best to win. When you get a good team together, let's say you're in a good guild, and you have a variance in heroes, in talents, enchantments, traits, you can put together an unbelievable team that really covers all the bases. This is just the way I choose to go about it. So I'm going to go into the enchantment system, and we're going to start by looking at the enchantments that are available. We go to equipment, and then we go into here. Now once you hit equipment, you go into the first screen that is really relevant to the enchantment system. I'd like to pause here and note in the top right hand corner there is an exclamation point. We press that exclamation point and bingo. We have every enchantment available in the game, explained in detail, and showing you, I'll use Unbridled Fury for example, and showing you what the enchantment does at each of the 5 levels. We can see attack speed is increased by 10%. We jump up to level 5, we see attack speed is now increased by 30%. And you can get a very good look before you begin spending resources, spending gems. Get a very good look at what kind of enchantments you might be after for your account. I believe that each of these enchantments, every one of them that's available, I believe that each one, if put on the proper hero, if used in the proper scenario, they can be game changers. These are all great enchantments. There are 4 though. 4 that should be used for a very specific purpose and for no other purpose. That would be Pyre Mage, Divine Templar, Blade Knight, and Burning Plate. These 4 enchantments can actually be detrimental to your heroes and your progress in the game. Let's take dungeons for example. you're going to get 20, perhaps even 30 dungeon refreshes. That means that each time you sweep a dungeon, you're earning honor badges, experience, and shards. It's the best way to level up your heroes, especially if you're free to play. Dungeons should be a player's number one priority. So when you place an enchantment like Burning Plate, Blade Knight, Divine Templar, or Pyre Mage on a hero, say, like Pumpkin Duke, what you're going to find is the enchantment actually causes Pumpkin Duke to lose the opportunity to proc or to use his skill. I'll give you the example of Burning Plate. We put Burning Plate on Pumpkin Duke. We put Pumpkin Duke in a dungeon. Now all of a sudden, Pumpkin Duke has a burning ring of fire around him. A very deadly, a very strong burning ring of fire, but a ring of fire nonetheless. As Pumpkin Duke approaches a wall, as Pumpkin Duke approaches a building, as Pumpkin Duke approaches troops, he will destroy them using the burning plate around him. That burning plate will annihilate walls, buildings, troops. It will rob Pumpkin Duke, or really any other hero, of his or her ability to gain energy. Instead of hitting these inanimate objects and gaining enough energy to proc or to activate the hero's skill, Pumpkin Duke will now be robbed of that ability based on the fact that Burning Plate is so strong. Blade Knight is so strong. Divine Templar, Pyre Mage. These are area of effect enchantments as far as I'm concerned. Everything around Burning Plate's going to get destroyed. Blade Knight, Templar, and Pyre Mage are going to run ahead of Pumpkin Duke. These summoned heroes, these little mini sprites, they are going to be the ones to destroy the walls, buildings, and engage the enemy, not Pumpkin Duke. You've got to let, in dungeon modes, and its number one key priority, get through dungeons, you've got to keep these last 4 enchantments off of your heroes. The number one time, this is the argument, the number one time that I would think these 4 final enchantments on the list would come in handy would be in a game mode such as Archdemon. If you're taking on bosses, if you're taking on demons, if you're taking on even Lost Realm demons, then these 4 enchantments are going to be amazing. You get 3 minutes with Burning Plate at level 5 against an Archdemon, friend, you're going to put up a high score. You're going to be in the top 100. Simply because that Burning Plate, in addition to what your heroes are doing, it's going to cause damage to the degree that it's like you've added a hero to your roster. A 7th hero to attack the Archdemon. Most people who run Archdemon at a very high level have one of these summoned sprites alongside the hero. Pyre Mage typically being the one that causes the most damage. I have some Archdemon heroes that do have Pyre Mage. That's the only time I really use those heroes. I would not use them in any game mode where I want the relevant core heroes to proc or activate their skill. So be careful with those last 4 and use them only in certain situations. All of the other enchantments I think are great, but great to a varying degree. Some are based on chance. I've never been a fan of chance. I want the sure thing. Things like Death Sentence, for example. Okay, let's take Death Sentence up to level 5. This is as high as it goes. Even at level 5, Death Sentence has only a 32% chance to activate. There is also a 9-second cooldown. So what that means is you've got let's say Bogeyman. Bogeyman is about to attack Anubis. Alright, Bogeyman's got death sentence. There's only a 32% chance that death sentence is going to activate against Anubis. And if it doesn't activate, and I would say 68% chance that it doesn't, if it doesn't activate, it's still going to take 9 seconds before it resets, and you get that 32% chance again. So it's a bad roulette wheel as far as I'm concerned. So many of these, Blinding Blow, when attacked, 25% chance with a 9-second cooldown. I stay away from them like the plague. No chances as far as I'm concerned. I want either more damage, I want a higher attack rate, I want extended range, I want the ability to silence the enemy, I want things that are going to always be activated and always working. Let me go back one screen, go to the change button, and look at things through the long view. Here are each of my heroes. Currently, as of January 3rd, 66 unique heroes in the game, sorted by the most recently released at the top and the oldest and first released at the bottom, which would be Paladin. Each of my heroes, when you click on he, she, or it will display the hero and display the current enchantment on the hero. For Laz, I go with Victory Lunge. I'll speak about Victory Lunge briefly, but I want to make this point. All the time, not chance-based, not luck, but all the time, Laz is going to be getting a 25% increase in attack. And in addition, he's going to be reflecting, or she, or it, is going to be reflecting 15% of the damage that's being taken. This effect lasts for the entire battle. So the whole time that Laz is out there, the hero's doing more damage and pushing damage back at the attackers, causing them more damage in addition to what Laz is doing. I find personally that Victory Lunge is the best enchantment for heroes that do damage, that are tanks, that are hard to kill, that are out in front, that are good base defenders, that create a wall against the enemy because of the attack increase and because of the reflection of damage. It pairs very, very well with your heavy hitter heroes. So I went with Victory Lunge on Laz. You're going to see a pattern develop pretty soon. Next, we got Commodora, and we've got a Victory Lunge on Commo. Next is Bogey. We got a Victory Lunge on Bogey. Victory Lunge on Rowdy Rascals. We move to a new talent. This is Silencing Shot. I have Silencing Shot on Mahatma. Mahatma is a ranged hero. Two types of heroes in this game. A ranged hero or a melee hero or hand-to-hand fighter. A ranged hero shoots or throws something from a distance. A melee or hand-to-hand combat fighter is fighting face-to-face right up in front of the enemy. Silencing Shot increases a hero's range by 1 for the entire battle. So, the hero will be able to fire 1 square, might be less than that actually, but a half a square earlier in combat than a hero who did not have Silencing Shot. Now, something like Lost Battlefield. This can make all the difference in the world. Mahatma is the kind of ranged hero that you would want Silencing Shot on. When you pair Silencing Shot with a hero's talents such as Zealous Drive. We'll get into talents in another video. But Zealous Drive also gives a 1 range increase. You pair that with Silencing Shot and Friendo, they stack. That is a +2 range increase. That gives Mahatma the ability to hit folks from out in center field. Okay? It's, in my opinion, the best talent because it pairs, the best enchantment because it pairs so well with her best talent, Zealous Drive. So you've got the 1 range increase. Now you do have some element of risk here. There's a 26% chance to inflict silence with a 7-second cooldown. But quite honestly, I'm not so enraptured with the silence ability. I'm more into the range increase for the game modes in which I use ranged heroes. Here's a note of caution. If you have a melee hero, a hand-to-hand combat hero, Silencing Shot will not grant a +1 range increase. A hero must be a ranged or distanced fighter in order to receive the +1 range increase. The hand-to-hand combat hero will receive the 26% chance to inflict silence for 2.2 seconds when attacking an enemy. That works. Same thing with the talent Zealous Drive. If you put Zealous Drive on, let me go to somebody who has Zealous Drive. If you go to, the heck, who has goods? Here we go. I have a Zealous Drive on Ares because I also equipped him with an 8 Revite Crest, so he goes off right away. I gave him Silencing Shot for a +1 in range. I gave him Zealous Drive 9, again for a +1. They stack, total +2. If he were not a ranged fighter, if he was hand-to-hand, if he had to get right in the face of the enemy and start punching, with Zealous Drive, he would not be granted the +1 range increase, but he would still receive the 90% attack increase, and he would still receive the 45% damage reduction. So any hero that is not ranged should stay far and clear away from the enchantment Silencing Shot and from the talent Zealous Drive. But when they are paired together on a ranged fighter, they will stack and provide a +2 range gain. I was down here at Mahatma. Okay, so you're going to see with heroes that I want to debuff or remove the strength of the enemy, or heroes I want to buff or give strength to my team, I often will give Silencing Shot. We got ourselves Ashura, again, up in front, a tank, a guy who naturally reflects damage, pairs perfectly with Victory Lunge. We've got ourselves Lava, again, Victory Lunge. Professor Ribbit got Victory Lunge. Okay, we go to Storm Eater. Storm Eater's got a +1 range because I have Zealous Drive on him. He is a ranged fighter. I paired it with Silencing Shot for a +2. We've got ourselves Serena. I consider her to be a support hero. I don't want her up in front getting her head smacked. I want her in the back. I want her to not only deal damage, I want her to bring heroes back to life. With Silencing Shot, she's able to do so without getting so close to the enemy. Dove Keeper, Victory Lunge. Spirita, Victory Lunge. Sass, Victory Lunge. We've got ourselves Athene, again, support hero. I want her in the back. I want her to be able to proc. I want her to be able to gain energy from a further distance away from the enemy. Creation, Victory Lunge. Walla, victory lunge. Skelly, victory lunge. We get to our first Unbridled Fury. Okay, this is Mectessa. Mectessa is a hero whose attack speed is greatly increased as her level and skill increase. She is, I would suspect that her best ability is her piston-like punching power. She can hit not only hard, but she hits fast. So I added a 30% attack speed increase to her. She also has a chance to stun the enemy. I'm not so interested in the stun. I was more interested in the attack speed increase to get those pistons firing even faster. That's Rockno, victory lunge. Again, damage dealer, tank, up in front, taking hits. I want more attack. I want to reflect damage. Gunslinger, victory lunge. Ronin. Now, Ronin, I have energy sap. There's a reason for this. Remember victory lunge. Victory lunge reflects 15% of incoming damage. That means the hero actually has to be taking damage. If the hero is not taking damage, there's no reflection happening. I go to Ronin. Ronin becomes invisible, if you will. He becomes cloaked. He goes into a nether region where the enemy cannot see him. During this time, he takes no damage. So to have a reflection enchantment on Ronin, to me, didn't seem to make any sense. He's not going to be taking any damage. I can, with energy sap, though, still increase his attack by 20%. Only 5% less than victory lunge. But in addition, I can reduce the target's attack by 5% for 9 seconds, with a very short, almost non-existent cooldown of 1 second. So it seemed to make more sense to give Ronin the ability to hit harder, but not rely on being hit. I don't want Ronin to be hit. Nubis, victory lunge. We got ourselves Heartbreaker. While I wouldn't consider her necessarily a support hero, I do want her a little bit in the back. She has a natural scatter. She is a hero that I don't necessarily use often, but if I do, she is gunning from behind. Michael, victory lunge. Victory lunge on Michael does stack or add to his skill's natural reflection. So Michael, we'll jump to Michael. Main info. That's not going to do it for me. Go in here. Where are you, Mike? Hey, it was Anubis, my wall of Ronins. Let's take one Ronin, for example. Let's do this guy. Oh my gosh, we've got a level 8 Condemnation Ronin. With a 25% chance to reduce your attack speed. Friend, think twice before you come at me. I'm sending that Ronin your way. Where is Michael? Here he is. Okay. He already deflects 75% of damage taken for 6 seconds. By pairing that with Victory Lunge, it does add. It does stack. Giving him an extra 15%. Sweet goodness, the man is sending back 90% of the damage he's taking for 6 seconds. Making him, I wouldn't go so far as to say unkillable, but certainly a force to be reckoned with. Go back to long view. I was on Michael. Yeah, Redeemer. So again, Victory Lunge. Our buddy Little Nick, Victory Lunge, I want him to do damage. I'm not putting him up in front, no, but I want him to do as much damage as possible. This is Revenant, again, Victory Lunge. Go to our first use of Pyromage. Okay, this is Trixie Treat. I use Trixie against demons, against bosses. I use Trixie in Archdemon. This is the time that I use a Pyromage in order to increase the amount of damage that is possible in that game mode. Demogorgon, Victory Lunge. Medusa, very much like Ares, a hero that should be hitting from as far away as possible, giving that edge, that little bit of extra distance before the enemy gets a chance to attack. You stick a 5 Revite crest on, insignia on her, or even give her a revitalized talent if you need to, and she's going to shut them down before they even see it coming. Here is the first use of Malaise. I put it on Drakax. I am not a big fan of Malaise. I love the idea of it. It reduces the healing effects on 2 heroes by 100%. That makes, let's say, Levanica. That makes Levanica unable to heal himself. This is how you shut down a lava team. But it only does this on 2 random heroes. If you're taking on a Lost Battlefield team, you've got the majority of the heroes in that game mode who are not being affected by Malaise in any way, shape, or form. It's completely random. It also only lasts for 5 seconds, and there's an 8-second cooldown. But when it came up in the enchantment rolling system, I looked carefully at what these heroes do. I looked at Drakax. Drakax, and people hate on Drakax, that his best talent is a 9/9 warehouse, but he can be used in certain situations very, very effectively. Where are you, Drakax? Maybe he's in the back. Oh yeah, he didn't have a skin, so he's going to be up in the front. There he is. Okay, I put a Zealous Drive, granting him an extra range bonus. He's a ranged hero. Grants him an extra attack bonus. Grants him damage reduction. His skill, he does damage. He reduces healing effects by 75%, and that will stack. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. It will pair well with Malaise. Malaise already shuts down the healing effects by 100%, but in the time that the Malaise enchantment is in cooldown, Drakax is activating his skill, totally shutting down the ability of the enemy to heal itself. So a great enchantment to use on a hero like Drakax that already has the ability to shut down healing. Where am I? Going back in here. We were at Drakax. Okay, so Malaise on Drakax. Victory Lunge on Grimfiend. Silencing Shot on Lady Leo. I put Silencing Shot on Lady Leo for this reason. She's a ranged hero. For me, she doesn't have the stamina, the strength, the health these days, in contrast to today's heroes, to necessarily make it. But she can be very, very strong in certain situations. But I want to keep her in the back and give her a little bit of a range boost. We come to one of my other Archdemon heroes. This is Beast Tamer. He summons a bear to fight alongside him, and in addition will summon a Pyromage. This is simply for increased scores, more damage in game modes such as Archdemon or maybe in boss battles. We go to Phantom King. Here's a guy I want to hit as fast as possible, to fire as fast as possible, to get that scatter going that he already has. Unbridled Fury is going to increase that attack speed. Valentina, support hero. I want her to give energy. Here's Silencing Shot for you. Give you a little bit of extra distance. Here we go to Arctica. I've always looked at Arctica as a hero that is like a deep buffer. Freeze you up, hit you with Condemnation, why not also energy sap, reducing your attack ability? So I went with that on Arctica as well as Multanica. We go to Candy Cane. I wanted to fire from a distance, silencing shot. We go to Ghoulam, Victory Lunge. Victory Lunge for DD. Look at Skull Knight. Okay, I would go with Victory Lunge with Skull Knight, but the man does so much damage, and that damage is calculated in a slightly different way than the other heroes. To increase Skull Knight's damage capability really makes no difference at all. It makes no sense. It would be better to increase his speed. If he's hitting like a 10-ton truck, then why not hit like a 10-ton truck 4 times faster? That's the way I looked at it. So increase the man's speed. We go to Harpy Queen. I think for the same reason as Lady Leo. Keep her in the back. If I need to use her, I want her to stay alive and hit from a distance. Triantar. One of those support heroes. He reduces damage taken by your team, and in addition will revive. If I want him to revive my team in, say, Guild Wars, I've got a 5 Revite or an 8 Revite insignia on him. He's going to proc or activate his revive skill the moment he hits something. With silencing shot, he's going to hit from even further away, giving the enemy less of a chance to knock him out or auto proc on his head. We've got ourselves Warlock again. Slow everybody down from a distance. We've got Destroyer. Destroyer is one of those heroes that, quite frankly, it brings a tear to your eye. If you're a pay-to-play gamer, if you're a Castle Clasher who's put some money into this game, then you have received a couple of heroes, pay reward heroes. Spirit Mage, you get a Minotaur, and then you get Destroyer. Well, I said it when Destroyer first came out. I'll say it again, and I'm sorry to all the Destroyer fans out there, but Destroyer stinks. Okay, it's a slap in the face to say, hey, you've reached the threshold of spending. Here is a reward hero, and one that is, for all intents and purposes, useless. So on Destroyer, the man's got a natural life drain built into him. I thought, well, I'll increase his attack speed. The faster he attacks, the more life he will drain and hopefully stay alive. Siren, another one of my archdemon heroes. So I have the Pyre Mage. Really wouldn't use Siren in any other game mode. Pixie. Also someone who I consider to be a bit of a support hero, but also like Harpy and Lady Leo, I don't want her out in front. I want her way in the back, healing people. I think she's got a natural built-in 5 scatter, if I'm not mistaken. She also has one of the longest ranges in the game, at I believe 4 squares. So to add that silencing shot, now it's about 4.5 squares away she can start hitting. The Jolly Bazooka. We've got Victory Lunge on Santa. I want Santa to do a lot of damage, very much in the way that I would want Little Nick to do a lot of damage. I'm not throwing these guys out in front. I don't want them to be hit, but when I drop them on the field, I want them to do as much damage as quickly as possible. We have our buddy Orcsbane. Now we're going to get into a category very soon that I think is really important when it comes to enchantments. Heroes that do not have a cooldown. A cooldown means that after the hero's skill activates, after that big damage is done, the hero might have to wait a little while, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, before the hero is able to activate his or her skill. That cooldown prevents the skill from happening until the cooldown time has elapsed. When it comes to Orcsbane, he is one of those heroes that was never given a cooldown, meaning the man can activate his skill again and again and again and again with no rest in between. It's important then to add Unbridled Fury to increase his attack speed, thereby giving him the ability to activate his skill even more abundantly than without Unbridled Fury. Death Knight, Victory Lunge, Vlad, Victory Lunge. Go to Ares. I showed you the Ares before. That is an extra range with the Zealous Drive of +1. Now paired with Silencing Shot, we've got a +2 range increase. He also now has the ability to inflict silence 26% of the time. Ares inflicts silence based on his natural skill. The man's a long-distance silencing machine. We go to Multanica. I want him to debuff. We go to Immortep. Immortep, it is not stated that he has a cooldown in the skill description, but Immortep does. IGG Castle Clash did not tell us about the cooldowns on 3 specific heroes. While their descriptions will not say they have a cooldown, in fact, they do. It's very, very brief. It's not what I would call today's cooldown, where heroes might be waiting 4 or 5 seconds, but there is a cooldown nonetheless. On Immortep, it might look like he's always proccing, but there is a pause in between. That is why I went with damage dealing rather than speed. Cupid, again, support hero, fire from the back. We have ourselves the second hero where Castle Clash did not tell you that there's a cooldown. Snowzilla does have a cooldown. Super brief. It's a blink of an eye. But during that time, Snowzilla will reach maximum energy and be unable to proc or activate his main skill because the cooldown time has not yet elapsed. So I went with damage dealing. Okay. This is my only use of Cursed Battlefield. A Cursed Battlefield. I put it on Atlanticor. If you are making your way through Forgotten Trials, and I'll do a video on that too. Forgotten Trial. If you're making your way through the new game mode, Forgotten Trial, the Warden game mode, you're going to find somewhere around, I don't know, level 25, that Atlanticor becomes the key hero. You need to drop Atlanticor first. You need Atlanticor's shield to go up. You need all of the heroes on the board that fire or auto-proc fire without taking damage. You need them to fire at Atlanticor. They hit Atlanticor's shield. Those heroes in stage 25 of Forgotten Trial are then vaporized. They're killed by their own attack. That's what Atlanticor does best. Now for Forgotten Trials, you are dropping Atlanticor or putting him out on the board first in most circumstances. That's why I thought, well, Cursed Battlefield. It would then allow all the targets in that game mode to get 10% more damage for 10 seconds when the hero is attacked. And if you see, the cooldown time of 10 seconds also matches the damage increase of 10 seconds. So it has helped. I think it was the right thing to do simply because when am I using Atlanticor other than through Forgotten Trial? During this period in Castle Clash, that's really the only time that I'm going to be using him, so I want to get the max benefit. We have Grizzly Reaper. He has no cooldown. I want to make him as fast as possible so he keeps proccing and proccing. Here's Minotaur. I want him to do as much damage as possible, just like Santa Boom, just like Little Nick. Go out on the board, hit something, destroy it. That's it. Pumpkin Duke. Definitely Unbridled Fury. Man has no cooldown. His ability to proc, to activate his Celebrate skill is based on his speed. The speedier your Pumpkin Duke is, the more Celebrates you're going to get, and Pumpkin Duke will start stacking and stacking, making you an amazing team of heroes. So give him a little bit of extra speed. Thunder God, again, no cooldown, give him speed. Druid, no cooldown, give him speed. Champion, again, give him Unbridled Fury, he has no cooldown. Succubus, she has no cooldown. Ninja, he has no cooldown. Spirit Mage, no cooldown. Lastly, Paladin. Paladin is the third of 3 heroes that Castle Clash has not articulated that there is a cooldown in effect. You read the skill description on Paladin, there's no mention of a cooldown. There is a slight cooldown on Pally. If in my prior video I said, hey, there's no cooldown, okay, there's like a 0.5 second cooldown. But with Unbridled Fury, it really does rev up his ability to be granted energy and to keep that shield up the majority of the time when in combat. Read the traits, or excuse me, read the enchantments. Choose which one is best for your team, your hero, your situation. Out of the 66 heroes, I have my preferred enchantment on each one. I don't need to change any enchantments, but I got all these boxes. We are going to be getting a new hero in maybe 3 weeks. If I roll a good enchantment like a Victory Lunge, even an Energy Sap or an Unbridled Fury, maybe a Silencing Shot, the ones that I use, those main 4, then I'll keep it here in the queue. If I don't get anything, then we'll get to see what luck brings, and I'll just burn through a bunch of enchantment boxes. First, I'll use the cards. Okay, garbage, 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 and garbage. Well, that's what cards will get you. Lesson number 1 about getting a good enchantment. Don't use cards. Don't use gems. If you think rolling for a talent is hard, rolling for an enchantment, it's going to cost you every gem that you can accumulate. You should be rolling for heroes if you're going to spend gems in this game, not enchantments. Instead, try to get your hands on some level 4 or 5 enchantment boxes. It's about the only way that you're going to come out of this process with a decent enchantment. So I'm going to use a couple of these enchantment boxes, and let's see what we got. We went through 6 cards. We didn't get anything, I believe, above a 2. We go with a 4 of 5 Cursed Battlefield. Only 1 character, Atlanticor, did I put this enchantment. And that was a 5 of 5. I know I can jump past that. Malaise, again, I'm not going to put it on anybody other than Drakax. Death Sentence, I don't like the fact that it's got a 32% chance to activate. I stay away from gambles. A 4 of 5, I said no a moment ago to a 5 of 5. Why would I say yes to a 4? Energy Sap, I refuse to have a 4. Forest Ward, forget you 4. 5 Malaise again. You know what my luck's going to be? The next hero they release is going to be a hero that reduces the healing effects of other heroes. And I would have liked that Malaise back. No 4s. We're going to try to stop on a good, usable 5 enchantment that I can keep in the queue until the next hero is released. You know what? For good luck, let me go on Bogeyman. I have gotten good results when I roll on Bogey. Down in 92. The curse is real. All 4s. You know, this reminds me of Hero Collector yesterday. We had Hero Collector on the iOS server. I blew through something like 20,000 gems. I did so in the attempt to get the heroes that were granting rewards. Right around 20,000 gems, I finally had the willpower to say this is ridiculous. When it comes to Hero Collector, and again, just my opinion, And it's something that, it's advice that I don't even follow. Okay, I keep reminding myself. I say, stop doing Hero Collector. Hero Collector will grant you certain rewards. Take a look at those rewards. Okay, add them all up. Maybe you get three little things with each hero that you get in Hero Collector. Look at those rewards that you get. Now open up the bazaar and look at what you get for a $100 purchase. You're going to get more than 3 or 4 little rinky-dink rewards. For a $100 purchase, you can get some game-changing stuff. What's today's bazaar at $100? Okay, let's say you didn't have the punching box pet. You're going to be able to level that thing up several times. You could 800 books, 70 last stones, all this stuff for breakthrough. These chests. That's a lot better than Hero Collector. How many gems are you going to spend trying to get the proper heroes in order to complete Hero Collector? I bet more than $100 worth. Now, I understand there's always going to be somebody who say, oh, I rolled a 450 and got all 3 at a... Yeah, okay, friend, but I'm not that guy. I'm going to spend more in Hero Collector than I would do if I had just bought something. And I tell myself that each time. I say, don't buy anything, and in addition, don't roll on Hero Collector. I hope that now I'm going to actually follow that advice. I was going back to changing a trait. Changing an enchantment. I was trying to get something good like a 5 victory lunge. Let's do it on bogey. And try a couple more. That is useless. That is ridiculous. That is abysmal. That is an act of suffering. This is draining my soul. Come on, baby. Bing. All right, here we go. I got a really nice talent, or enchantment. This enchantment energy sap, and we discussed this. It pairs very well on a debuffer. I put it on Arctica. I put it on Moltanica. I put it on Ronin because he doesn't take damage most of the time, so I want him to reduce the attack ability of the enemy. I'll keep that energy sap in the queue until the next hero is released and have the willpower to stop. Okay, collect some mana. Anything more about enchantments? Use the boxes, just in review. Use boxes rather than gems. You're going to be spending an inordinate number of gems just to get level 1, 2, and 3 enchantments. Maybe they've made it a little easier. I remember when the enchantment system was first introduced, getting a 5 victory lunge was like trying to hit the moon with a beach ball. You could blow through a day's purchase simply trying to get 1 5 victory lunge. And in the end, you'd come up empty-handed. And actually, the enchantment interaction screen would laugh at you if you had the sound on. That was back in the day. I think they made getting enchantments a little bit easier through rolling, but I would still recommend going with the enchantment box. I'm going to wrap things up here on this video. I am at 608,106. I am going to 610 in terms of might. Then I'm taking a break. I am going to just hibernate here in the winter for a little while until the next hero is released. I want to make sure that I am going to be able to pump that hero up with the resources that I've accumulated over the next couple of weeks. So somewhere around 610, I hope 610 on the nose if I do the math correctly. I'm going to just stop, save up for a little while, and focus on guild life, focus on this channel, and be able to continue discussing Castle Clash and having the great interactions that I've had so far online, as well as through the YouTube channel. Thank you all very much. I will talk to you soon with a new video where I hope to do an in-depth hero study. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great one. Bye-bye.